Hello and welcome to Face It, presented by Fayette County Public Schools and the 16th District PTA. We are all facing challenges right now, but we believe that it is better to face it together. This show was created for a shared space and time, as well as allowing a virtual interaction to discuss relevant topics that are happening right now in real time, topics that are at the forefront of our minds.
This is a time for us as a family and community to engage together and support each other. Face It is a platform for real talk, real relationships, and real ways for us to express ourselves and the way we're feeling, exert our energy in a positive way, and be solution-driven in our approach to whatever we are going through and facing in our communities. Let's face it. We need each other, whether it be challenges or celebrations. I just believe they're better faced together.
Absolutely. I'm Melody Westerfield, the FACE, the Family and Community Engagement Liaison at William Wells Brown Elementary School. Basically, my duty is to communicate, advocate on behalf of our families, the community, and our schools, to empower our families, to empower our children.
And I am Vita Stewart, District Family and Community Engagement Liaison. And we're ready to start talking about our component today, which again is focusing on wellness. Today's topic is how do we support our children through this pandemic? And we have a few special guests that are here to share with us on this very important topic. Ladies, would you introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Wendy. I am a parent. I have two elementary school students at Deep Springs, second grader to third grader, 8 and 9-year-old. And I'll be happy to hear what y'all have to offer and see if I can help in any way.
Hi, my name's Rainey Minikin. I work for Fayette County Public Schools, but I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. My job with Fayette County Schools is to coordinate ESS, guidance and counseling, and mental health services.
Okay, Rainey, good to meet you, and you too, Wendy. We also have on this panel a Fayette County Public Schools student, Micah Walker. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, my name is Michael Walker. I'm 16 years old, and I'm currently a student at Bryan Station High School. I'm a junior, and yeah.
What do you do, Micah? Are you involved in any sports, any clubs?
Yeah, I run track, and I'm also on the student council at Bryan Station High School.
Okay, look at you, a smart man. So, are y'all ready to get started?
Definitely.
Okay, here we go. So now that Rainey, this question is for you and Wendy. Okay, so after being told to, stay at home, it's better, it's safer at home. Be protective of yourself. Now that we're returning back to work, the question is, how do we prepare our kids on this transition, and how do we lower their anxiety and their level of anxiety with having to go back to work now?
In my case, I actually did have to go back to work on Saturday. The good thing about my job is I'm able to handle my own hours, my own schedule. And so I was able to sit down and talk with them and say, hey, I'm not going to be home like I was. You're not going to wake up and see me there. And let them know if they needed to talk to me or speak to me, they could call me at any moment. The upside with us is that, their dad was able to stay home with them and help them out that way. But in our case, it was very important to talk to them, to definitely speak and let them listen to what they have to say about how they're feeling. Because like you said, we've been telling them, no, we can't go outside. No, we can't go to the park. No, we can't go to Gaddy Town. We can't do all the stuff that we were used to doing. And now we're telling them, yeah, we have to go out. So absolutely, they're going to be a little scared, for you more than anything. But communication is key. Absolutely, communication.
I would agree with Wendy completely. In addition to my role in Fayette County, I'm also a parent of two 5-year-old boys. And recently, I too had to venture out for a function of my job. And one of my sons in particular was really anxious about that. And I think you're on the right track. I think so often as parents, we try to protect our kids from difficult information. But in recent weeks, we've really had to let them know, at least within age appropriate boundaries, why we're staying home, the dangers and the implications of getting out and being around other people. So similarly, we have to have those upfront conversations. So something I've done with my sons who are younger is show them that wear my mask, show them gloves because of the function was going to do, that I would be wearing, and talking to them about how the folks in charge have put some measures in place to keep us safe, but we have to follow those rules. We've also even practiced the social distance of about 6 feet to kind of help them to understand what that looks like. And that's been helpful, even just going on walks in our neighborhood to kind of, oh, wait, we're about to get too close to another individual. So they practice and move away and give space. So I think just being open and honest, but doing it in a way that's thoughtful about what they're ready to hear at their age.
Thank you. That was a good response.
Yes, I agree. I think what you said about having real conversations with our kids is so important. So as we continue along with our line of questioning, I'd like to ask, what do we do to stay motivated and maintain our schedules and routine and our so-called normal habits during this time? And I really would like to hear from all the panelists as we address this question of, how to stay motivated. I mean, I'm needing to hear that for myself today. So I'd like for our parent, then our student, and then Rainey to join in with that question.
Well, I have to admit, at first it was very hard. It was very hard to stick to the routine, because the motivation wasn't there. Like, oh, we don't have to get up at 6:30 to get him ready for school. So it really took a lot for us to, okay, set the alarm. No matter what, set the alarm. Pretend we are on a normal schedule. Pretend. We definitely had to do the pretend thing. Pretend we're back to normal and set the schedule. Some days, like the weekends, we would let the kids sleep late, so they could have a little bit of more playtime. But on Mondays, back at it again, and it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. It was a task. It was a goal that we all had to, sometimes we all did really good. Sometimes we all failed. Sometimes one picking up the other one. But it was definitely just the goal. Okay, today we're going to get up on time like we were used to. And then we're going to do breakfast like you would do at school. And then we're going to sit down and start doing homework, and then once we got used to the idea that, okay, we don't have to spend 8 hours a day on the NTI, then it became a little bit easier. You looked forward to it and you put a little bit more effort and you didn't get so frustrated, because I was super frustrated at first. And I think that was very common for everybody. But it really was just putting your mind to it. It's like setting a goal, right? Setting this is where we need to be for this week or today or the next couple of days, and then really sticking to it. And it's not easy, but if we all put a little bit of effort into it, I think we were able to do it.
Thank you for that. I love how you said it's okay to fail some days. Just get back up and do it again. So that honesty about that, everything isn't going to be perfect. I think that's important for me to hear and others to hear. So Micah?
I think the main thing to do is to find something that you're passionate about and make sure you're trying to stay motivated and continuously on your schedules and stuff like that. At first it was hard for me because I was we don't have to wake up, so I'm gonna sleep in. And then I realized that it's not good to get on that bad habit of that schedule of going to sleep at 4 a.m. and waking up at 2 o'clock, because then there goes the whole day. And so I realized that I have to give myself tell myself you have to do this in order, because if we do go back to school, I don't want it to take 4 months to get back on my schedule. So I had to realize that telling myself to do this at this time, finish my work, wake up in the morning, take a shower, eat breakfast, just like a normal I can do a hula hoop. On school still. And that's my because it's like that's what you need to do instead of like anything else. So yeah.
That was so good, Micah. That was really good to hear, because we all know when we were forced to go home and stay home. I know the kids, they just kind of went, well, I ain't waking up the next day. I'm not waking up, I'm sleeping in, especially your elementary kids who gets up earlier. So that was good to hear. Rainy.
Well, first, when I was 16, I would have never been that self-disciplined. So that was impressive. That's so impressive. But we had to do the same thing here. Um, you know, I co-parent with my husband, and the two of us, when all this started, very quickly realized not only did our kids need a routine, but we did too. And so we wrote it out on a piece of paper, and it has been changed several times. But some things have been consistent, and that is, you know, we get up at 7 every weekday, and like Wendy, we follow the same routine we did before, which is weekends are much more relaxed. We have breakfast at a particular time, etc. So that's helped us quite a bit. And for our children, I think building in little incentives. So for us, it's just a visual. They get a little sticker, or if we hadn't if I had not had stickers, I would have just done a star or a smiley. But each time a task is completed, each time they kind of adhere to the routine, which is very different than it used to be, that has helped them to stay motivated. And now, if we, for whatever reason, work conflicts, etc., can't follow the routine, that is questioned by the boys, because now they're so used to it, which has been is a good thing. And so I think just making it visual, just writing it out for everyone, and being consistent, making yourself do exactly what Micah said. Get up, take a shower. I don't really want to some days because no one's going to see me. But doing all of those things has been really helpful for, I think, all of us, the adults and kids in our house.
How old are your babies, Rainy?
They're both 5-year-old boys. I think you got to hear them a minute ago.
That's okay.
So sorry.
So, okay, with that being said, Rainy, I'm gonna start with you, but I want to hear from everybody. So tell me, what should it be? What should you be looking for, especially as our expert? What should we be looking for? How should we recognize the signs of stress and anxiety within our children? How can we, and when do we support them? What does that look like?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's going to look different depending on the age. So I'll start with older children first, or our preteens and teens. If we start to see our child really withdrawing, not communicating with the family, spending more time in their bedroom than usual, not appearing to be interested in things they used to be interested in, you need to be concerned. And right now, things do look different. Micah can't go to track practice, for example, but you know, he can still go for a run. And so if they lose interest and can't find a replacement for those activities, that's definitely something to be concerned about. For any age child, being weepy, changes in appetites, sleeping more, or having trouble sleeping is a concern. I think too, you can see a lot of irritability regardless of the age, us adults too. When you're feeling particularly stressed, that your response tends to be a bit more heightened, perhaps more angry or even aggressive verbally or physically, because you've got all of these emotions inside that you're not sure how to deal with. So I think any changes in behavior are something to be concerned about. But it doesn't mean that there's something clinically wrong. This is a particularly stressful time for all of us, and something that's been helpful for me as a parent and just as an individual is to talk to others about it, and it helps to normalize it. And so having those conversations again, even with my younger kids, we had that conversation this morning. It just seemed like an off morning. What is going on, and talking to them in real language, but without putting words into their mouth, to let them know how they're feeling or what they're thinking about that could be bothering them right now.
Micah, tell me, how do you recognize it within yourself?
Well, As a teenager, I do tend to like distance myself and withdraw myself from my parents whenever I feel like stressed, because I feel like if I say too much or like, I don't want them to think like something's like too wrong with me. And so like when I get stressed, I tend to like just try to focus on it myself. And it's just like sometimes you do need that extra support, and sometimes you do need to go through it alone. But when I see like myself start to stress, I start to like think about, if I can't control it, then I shouldn't stress over it. And so I feel like if it's something you can't control, then you shouldn't be worried about it, and you shouldn't stress about it, definitely. Stress is like top of the notch, like one of the, and so I feel like I don't really know. It's kind of a hard situation to talk about, because when you're stressed, you feel all these different types of emotions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that if I'm ever stressed, I can go to my parents and talk to them, but I never want anything to feel forced.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you cope, Micah? Tell me, how do you cope and the strategies you use?
I tend to I do this thing called self-care Sundays. And so if I'm stressed out, on those days, I tend to let it all out. And so I do spa days and stuff like that, something that will make me feel better. And that's usually how I cope with it.
That's good. Wendy, you're up.
Well, it definitely varies by child, and the way one will respond is definitely not the way the other one will. And I actually defer to the way my personality is, and I try to remember how I was at that age. Because, for example, with my daughter, she's my replica, unfortunately, in personality-wise and in sentiment and everything. So I try to remember how it felt. Obviously, I didn't go through what they're going through right now, but I try to remember feeling those frustrations and knowing that you can't really express them. So I keep that in mind, and I my biggest thing for me is talking, is getting them to talk at that age, especially. My boy is a little bit more resilient. He definitely is. He takes after dad, where everything just kind of slides off and takes everything in stride. But my girl, she definitely is showing that it's affecting her a bit more. So we sit down with them and we talk to them and we ask them questions and we let them say, hey, whatever you want to say, whatever you feel like saying, say it. We're not going to be upset. We're not going to be mad. There's not a good or a bad answer. We just want to know how you're feeling. And we had that really, really good talk not too long ago, right before my daughter's birthday, as a matter of fact, because there had been some bad behavior that had to be addressed. And I told my husband, look, we need to realize it's a situation. If it's affecting us as adults and we don't know how to, deal with it, how much more them. And so we have to be considerate of that. And so just really, really trying to get it out of them and just talking to them and say, hey, if this is upsetting you, you need to let us know, instead of getting mad, instead of destroying something, instead of, kicking the dog or something, you need to let us know this is what's upsetting me. And even though it might seem silly to us, to them it's not. And we really need to respect that, something very trivial, something very small, something that to you doesn't make sense, but to them it is. It's a big deal. And so just like I said, my biggest offense with them is just talking to them. And they love it. They really do. They absolutely love the idea of you sitting down with them and just having a heart-to-heart with them, more than giving them stuff. This is something that they absolutely treasure.
Yeah. So talking is the coping skills
Yes.
strategy you use. Did you have something, Rainey?
Yeah, that's exactly it, I think. But I think too, setting aside time, and this is tough because you can't go anywhere with your kids, but having special playtime. And that special playtime can still apply even as a teenager, Micah. So it could be taking a deck of cards and just you and a caregiver having one-on-one time. It's a natural way for you to have a conversation without it feeling like mom or dad or grandpa or whomever is quizzing you. It's just we're chatting while we're playing. For younger kids, it could be that they direct the play. Let's go play outside, but you get to decide what we're going to play. And that can be really powerful. Also, I love what Wendy said about each kid's different. So for some kids, I'm this person. I can much better put my thoughts and feelings down in writing than to articulate them orally. And so it could be, if your child is of an age that they can write, that they can journal, or it could be a shared journal where you just grab an old notebook and they can write some things and then you write a response. And it's an easier way for some folks, and I would have been one of these, to have that dialogue without feeling the pressure, both as the parent and the child, to respond. I think allowing art and play to express how they're feeling. So if they're having trouble putting it into words, they can always draw what's going on, or draw what they wish that they could do, what they're missing. And it gives you a starting off point to then talk to them about ways that they can cope with it. There are some awesome videos online about deep breathing and mindfulness, which is just kind of being in the moment. YouTube is full of them that are for different age levels. And I think too, just any way you can be physically active. And that could be a living room, dance party, but just ways to kind of release things physically can be so helpful too.
Amen. I almost wanted to jump up and shout amen, Micah, when you said something. It was wisdom way beyond your years when you said, if it's not something I can control, I don't need to stress over it. Yeah. I'm going to take your advice. And so with that, this year has been different. I'm saying that facetiously and mildly. But so in that, how can we, and Micah, how can you, and then Miss Wendy, how can you help your children to kind of grieve or process this loss of a school year? Because I mean, things, we just can't do things in the same manner. Graduations, proms, athletic events, music recitals, competitions, just hanging out with friends. Just couldn't do it in the normal way. And then the second part of that question that I really want to hear is, so because after you've grieved the loss, how do we move on and be creative with the celebrations and recognizing special moments? So if you could do that 2-part for me.
Okay, you want me to start?
That's fine.
I think, first of all, like you said, they need to grieve. They absolutely need to feel that they are missing on something. Not dismiss it like, oh, it's no big deal, because it is a big deal. And so once we start helping them with that by saying, okay, well, it's not going to always be that way. It's going to change. It's going to change. This is temporary. We might have to change a few things. It might not be the same. Like, for example, my daughter's a big hugger. She loves hugging everybody. So that might have to be curbed. And so, just explain to them, look, maybe for a bit, you might just have to wave hi, from far away, and, let them know if you miss them, that you miss them. And you get to, do a lot of more fun stuff, later. But just, ease it in a little bit, obviously not scaring them to death, like, oh, no, you can't do this or you can't do that. But definitely let them know it might be a little different, but it'll get better. Little by little, every day, it'll get a little bit better. And you're not alone. You're always going to have us around. We're always going to be here. And you give them all the hugs that they're missing from everybody else. I think that's another good way of making up for it. As far as getting them ready for the summer, I guess it's not going to be the same because summer plans have been completely halted. Again, we're fortunate that my husband is very imaginative, and he has taken it upon himself to rent bouncies, just for them too in the backyard, if it's something that you can do. Obviously we won't be able to go to the public pools, so even getting one of those little kiddie pools, where they can splish splash in the backyard. The kids really, as long as they're getting wet and going crazy and yelling and screaming, that's all they care about. So if we can fulfill that and let them know that hopefully soon their friends will be able to join them, that give them, at least let them have that fun here at home. and get crazy. If, like you said, have a little dance party, and if we want to put the strobe lights and that's what they want to do it for them. They want to have a dance off. Even if it seems silly, for them it means the world, because it lets them release what they're feeling. So I think in this new normal, pretty much anything goes, in the sense of, even if it seems silly, do it. If it's going to make them laugh, if it's going to make them smile, if it's going to make them feel fulfilled for the moment being.
Thank you. Micah?
I definitely think allowing your kid to like grieve over the school year is like the best thing, because like not only did like we lose a school, like a semester, but like we lost all those memories that we would have gotten. And so like I know for my senior friends it's super hard, because that was their last like year. They have been doing school for 12 years, and then they get to the last year and they can't even enjoy it. They can't go to prom, they can't have their own graduation. Allowing your kid to feel that like feeling, allowing them to like get better afterwards, like helping them say like it's not always going to be like this, and like it's going to change. Like you missed your graduation, but they're doing a lot of creative things to like help the kids like fulfill their graduations. Like I know they're doing a YouTube stream, which is really good, but I know it's still not the same because they're missing out. But like some people, they at least, what I'm trying to say is at least they're giving like thought into class of 2020. Because like some people could be like, oh, it's no big deal, I missed out on graduation, people do this and this, but like it means something to them. It means a lot, because like they've been doing this for a long time. They went through all this, and then it's their last year and they don't get to do it. You would be upset too if you had been doing something for that long and you didn't get to feel like you completed it. Allowing them to feel like they still made it is very important.
Thank you.
And
Go ahead, keep going. Yeah. Listen, when I think about it, from 5 years old to 18 years old, that's what we did. We went to school, and that was the outcome, was graduating. So that's a big component. That's a big part of, that's a big loss. And I get it. I do get it. And our hearts go out to 2020, that the class of 2020. So for Wendy and Micah, with the summer, all the summer activities that we're usually used to doing, going to the pool, going on those vacations, going to Florida, whatever the case may be. And that obviously that looks different now, right? So what are your concerns, or if you have any concerns with transitioning into the summertime with this new norm?
Personally, my concern is that they definitely will feel like there was no break, like there was no, no in between, whatever it is that happened over here to, starting their new school year. That is definitely a concern of mine, that they will feel like, okay, something definitely was completely different, and we miss out on something, But like I said, I think hopefully with parks opening up again, stuff that we can do just us four as a family, as long as we can give them a little bit of distraction, a little bit of being away from the house, being away from indoors for a bit and get some fresh air. I think we will accomplish a lot by that. And again, not downplaying it, but not making a huge deal of it in front of them. Like, oh, great, we didn't get to go to the beach. Oh, great, we didn't get to visit the family, elsewhere. We're just going to say, well, no, it won't happen this time, but hopefully next year, we'll be able to do it. And so this year we just get to spend more time as a family. And hopefully in that time that we spend, we get to understand each other a little bit better, and learn how we can deal with each other under certain circumstances. And maybe that's hopefully the idea behind all this, the good side of it, that we get.
Right. Micah, what about you? Is there any concerns with this transition going into the summer?
Part of me feels like we're moving a little too fast and like opening things back up and stuff like that, because like the more I think about it, like I know as soon as stuff opens back up, all my friends are going to be like, you want to go somewhere, you want to do this and that. And like, I don't want to like put anybody else at risk. So like, I just feel like as a community, we're moving a little too fast. we should give ourselves a little more time. Even though I know everybody's tired of being in the house, I know I am too, but like we need a little more time to like, okay, this is happening. This is what's really happening, and like we need this time to like find it in ourselves to know that we have to like, if this was ever to happen again, like we know that we would be able to do it because we went through it once. But like the thing is, we don't want it to happen again. So why like open it back up this fast?
Yeah, look at you. That is
That's
words of
my
wisdom.
concern.
Okay.
I'm just happy that you were an incredible young man, Micah. So wise.
Wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I hope in a few years you're my mayor. Governor. All right. So, Rainey, as we begin to wrap up, what are just some final tips that you can share with us and our families about how to cope with this continuous cycle of uncertainty? How do we just deal with all this uncertainty?
Well, I think Micah said it really well, to remember what we can control and what we can't. And we cannot control a whole lot of things, which is really the brunt of what we're seeing as far as anger and frustration expressed on social media and in protests, is because we feel so out of control. So starting to reframe things into, okay, I can't control the decisions of my government. I can't control the spread of this virus. But what I can control is the choices I make as a parent, as a student, and even helping our younger children understand their choices can change the outcome of each day. And so I think kind of reconstructing your rituals, routines. One of the things we started early on, I think one of my kids kind of came up with it, but was what was good about today? And then what was frustrating about today? And so now that's just something we're doing at dinner. It's kind of like a mini family meeting. I think you can have a more formal family meeting where you brainstorm together and share, what do I need from my family to help cope with all of this? Because as a parent, I have needs that my kids can help meet. And that is not giving them adult responsibilities, but rather I need you to try to problem solve your disagreements. I need you to spend time playing when I ask you to, so I can get my work done. And then vice versa. They can say what they need as well. I think making sure to continue to maintain some semblance of routine, and I think it would be perfectly natural to make it more relaxed than maybe it has been the past 8 weeks, because it is summer and you want them, like Wendy said, to feel like there's some sort of break, but that routine could just look different, maybe more outside time. Practicing gratitude is hugely important for mental health in general, but especially when we feel like so much negative is happening. And that could be starting each day, journaling some, 3 bullet points, what I'm thankful for, but modeling that for our kids as well. And so doing it verbally, or having a gratitude jar that everyone puts things into at breakfast time or dinner time, or whatever the ritual might be. Coming up with ways to make even the mundane tasks of the day-to-day more fun. So, making dinner, instead of eating it at the table, we're going to have an indoor picnic, or we're going to take it to the parks are starting to open up. Maybe there's a green space we could go to. Coming up with ways to build in some leisure time is going to be important, and respecting that everyone has different ideas of what leisure is. So, my kids aren't going to really want to sit and read books for leisure time the whole time, but I would. So mixing it up to kind of meet everyone's interests will be important.
That's good. I like what you have. I like that. All of those tips that's all something that people can put in their toolbox, and really just some tangible tips right there. I like that. So our last question is going to be for Wendy and Micah, and if really what it's not even a question, is just some quick encouraging tips that you can give to other parents. So if you can give you know, real quickly, some encouraging words to other parents out there, what would you tell them?
You're not failing, even if you feel you are. You're not. It sounds cliche that we're all in this together, but we really are. And we need to find that help. We need to find our tribe. We need to find our support group, because you cannot do it alone. You cannot. And so don't feel bad if you need to ask for help, and don't hold back if you need to ask for help. We all need it. Nobody is done on their own. Nobody is made up on their own. You know, we all are a piece of, you know, everybody else that surrounds us, that accompany us.
Mhm.
So don't feel like you failed if you had a bad day. Just say, okay, tomorrow will be a different day, will be a better day. And you know, no one's perfect, and we're all really trying our best, and know that your best is enough, and your kids will remember it.
So good. Doing it together. Micah, what would you tell your other fellow students, your peers? What would you tell them? What encouragement would you give them?
Keep pushing, definitely. Keep like trying your best. Even though it feels like we're in this like huge time of uncertainty and it feels like we're not going anywhere, it's starting to get a little better, and it will get better. And although it seems like it's only going to get worse from here, like you have to have hope and faith that it'll get better, and it will get better eventually. And I would just tell everybody to allow yourself to feel how you feel, and then like, but don't ever let the feelings like take over. Allow yourself to feel the feelings, and then like learn to get over those feelings.
Mm.
If you feel like you need to feel this for this certain amount of time, then feel it, and then like once it's over with, do something to get over that. But I would just tell everybody to keep your head up. It's going to be okay. Everything is just uncertain right now, but we just have to keep hope.
Well, that's our future psychologist right there, isn't he? I mean, keep hope alive is what I hear you saying, and I love it. Well, I mean, this was a really, really good session, and all the great information that we have to pull in our toolbox. I thank you all. I really do thank you all for joining us this week on this week's Face It Chat. We would like to stay connected with everyone and continue to build a stronger community and support for all of our families. And Vita, would you please, you know, let them know and let everybody else know that's going to be watching how we can stay connected and what we're requesting at this time.
Yeah, I just want to say I felt honored to be in the presence of all this great wisdom from all of our three panelists. I'm taking everything that you said, and I'm taking it to heart, so thank you. But we want to hear from you. Send us your pictures, send us your videos, send us your words of encouragement so that we can share it with everyone else. Our email address is faceit@fayettecounty.kyschools.us. We would love to hear from you, and we want to highlight some of the things that you send us, some of the messages of encouragement on Friday. So, and we're looking for questions. What's on your mind? Are there any suggestions around the topics that we talked about today? Again, that email address is faceit@fayette.kyschools.us, and you can text it to 859-903-5531. We want to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Melody? We're trying to hear from Melody, but I think she's on mute.
That's me. I'm all the way on mute. So everyone, please mark your calendars as we feature a new Face It topic come June 4th at 6:30. You don't want to miss out on great conversations like this. We can't wait to connect with you again and continue to face it together. Goodbye, everyone.